Welcome back to the channel. So it's that time of the month. We got to make a performance review for the month of July. It's a few days past now. Apologize about that, but let's get right into it. So just like last time, I will open up my activity statement here as it's being loaded on the screen. So as a quick refresher, if you guys haven't seen, this is my previous results for the prior month. Phenomenal results. We made over $250,000. That is not normal. Okay, that is not normal. Just a very, very lucky month, I would have to say. But let's see how this last month kind of panned out for us, right? July. So Interactive Brokers, that is my brokerage for this account. We're going to go to Realized Summary. And let's go to monthly, and then we're going to select July, which is the most recent one, and we're going to view it straight from the web. Okay. The big reveal. Let's give it a go. Net asset value. Alrighty. So we ended up being up about 11% for the month of July. Came out to about $33,832 and some change. You could see our starting balance at the end of June, which is $305, and at the end of July, July 31st, we ended up with $339,000, $452. So we're up. Obviously, again, great results. Being up 11% in 1 month is phenomenal, especially considering how volatile July has been. I'm sure for a lot of people's accounts. We're going to kind of dive into all the trades that did occur. And there's a few trades I want to kind of talk more. But let's first just kind of look at the realized and unrealized summary here and kind of pick and choose at some stuff. So in total, for July, when it came to stocks, we ended up having a net loss here of almost $40,000. Alrighty, let's look at the big numbers here, right? AMD, down at $15,000 on. This one is unfortunate, especially because we had a video about AMD, as just showed you guys a thumbnail there. You know, there was a little bit of time there where AMD was working out as a trade for us. We were up over $15,000 on that trade. And this is before the massive downturn in the market began to occur, specifically around CPI day in July. There are a lot of mistakes that I did that month. The fact that that position, as you can see, is unrealized, sat in my portfolio. I did realize some of those losses is a mistake, right? The fact that it went so much against me, because I'll be honest with you guys, and I'm sure you guys can kind of agree to this too. The move lower was so violent. It was so quick, you know, from this point on right here, from July 17th, I had so many positions in my account that I was looking at. Some of them literally fell through the cracks in terms of managing them properly. AMD was definitely one of them. Two other trades that I'm pretty upset about here is Kava and Chipotle. For starters, these are two sizable positions in the same exact industry, and I probably top ticked it, you know. At face value, these stocks were great. I mean, they showed a lot of strength this whole year. It's definitely a place that you want it to be. But little did I know that as I was getting in, I was on the cusp of a major rotation out of these stocks. I mean, look at Chipotle's chart here, right? As we headed up. And look how ruthless the downside was, right? And this downside began to occur before we saw the major top in equities, okay? So clearly there was a rotation out of these sort of stocks ahead of time. I'm sure if you look at maybe, let's say, Sweet Green, I mean, same thing, right? Look at this, you know, this was in June. Yeah, in June, right? This is before the major tops occurred, right? Let's look at SPY real quick. SPY, July 16. That's when it actually topped, you know. But these other stocks, a lot of them, I think Wing might have been a bit better here, but July 1st it topped out, right? So you kind of see what I'm getting at here. This whole industry was getting rotated out very quickly. I missed my exit. What's even worse, that Chipotle originally I was meant to get in for earnings. I had a thesis as to why earnings would be good. The problem was that earnings was a month out, but little did I know that as I was getting into the trade, which was somewhere up here, awful, I was on the cusp of seeing the whole sector rotate out, you know. Had I followed my own rules, I would have been out basically in this zone here. The moment we had this breakout, everything looked great, and then just this massive candle, which is almost random, by the way, on that day. There was no explanation for it. Came down. I should have been out that day. I did not paid the price for that. Same thing for Kava. Kava broke a different rule. I got into this, right, as it was breaking out that day, intraday. Normally, I would wait for the close to make sure that break actually sticks for the closing candle. I did not. Broke a second rule. As it closed, at very least failing a breakout for that day, should have been an exit sign for me. I did not take it. Paid the price for it right off the bat. So, big mistakes were done there. Now I'm fine with showing this to you guys. I'm sure you guys make the same mistakes, but I want to show you guys the actual effects of not following your rules and making those mistakes. GameStop, we're not going to touch on. I tried a few times trying to get into that rally that was occurring between that $24, $25 range. It wasn't happening. I'm probably not going to be touching GameStop anymore for a long, long time soon. I mean, a lot of our gains from the prior month were from GameStop. Overall, we made like $240K from GameStop. So giving the 20 back, I'm okay with that, especially because we're not touching it moving forward. The volatility is simply not there. Tesla was a big winner for us. Happy about that. We got into this, I think. Let me bring up Tesla's chart real quick. So we did manage to grab a large portion of the rally. We ended up getting in, I'll have to say, probably like June 12th. In this region here, we held it up to about 250s or so. It was about 250 or so. I'm gonna show you guys the transaction so you could always check up on me, make sure I'm telling you guys the truth here. But that was a good play for us, no problems whatsoever. Wing, again, sector rotation out from what I was in. Plus, it doesn't help the fact that these are all in the same sector, foot away from home. That'll hurt me. So that's our losses from stocks. Options, overall 15K plus. Majority of those gains were from GameStop options, the calendar spread that I finally closed off. We're not going to be touching on that, but our gains for the month predominantly came from futures positions. So let's look at them. Here we have the Aussie dollar. Position got completely closed out. $9,000 in profit. Here's the Canadian dollar. I've also had a video about this. The Canadian dollar, by the way, being bullish on it. It hasn't panned out. And this month in particular, actually in August, I've been stopped out of that trade, but I'm back in that trade. We can look and see how the Canadian dollar looks like at the moment here. It's beginning to curl back up again. Not sure if that trade is truly going to materialize for us just yet, but it has been a loser for us. The Swiss has done well for us for the month. Cotton, that was a very quick stop out trade for us, but the sizing was a bit rough there. As you could see that the amount loss was high. Gold was okay. Copper, we made good money from copper the prior month in June and also in July, so that kind of adds on to everything. Same thing for natural gas. This is a position that we made money in June and also in July, but we're out of it completely now. NASDAQ, we're going to get into that in a second, and also the Russell, right? That's the big one. It is $71,000 position. I also made a video about that. I'll show you guys a thumbnail about that position. Sugar, a little bit of a loss. But okay, let's talk about NASDAQ, because once again, I made some big mistakes there. Now, I kind of annotated some of the trades that occurred to kind of show you guys what ended up happening, okay? Let's go to the 4-hour chart. So we ended up going short NASDAQ. And again, these transactions are going to be shown to you guys. We ended up going short NASDAQ over here. The day of the CPI, when I saw NASDAQ going red, NASDAQ came all the way down. We ended up covering and going along down here. Yes, we actually did that, believe it or not. We then ended up exiting around this zone here, right, where it says go short. Ended up going short NASDAQ. NASDAQ went up. Get out of my short position. I go long up here in this zone here, right? This is all the same day. I stay long. This day right here, when this break occurred, which I was watching the whole time, by the way, the low here to be broken, I wasn't around to trade. I wasn't around for half that day. By the time I came back, we're quite a bit below. I felt I've always had this issue where if I'm not exiting where I was looking to exit, to have that nice tight exit, it throws my plans away. It's hard for me to figure out, okay, where should I go right away? And it didn't help that the move lower came so quickly. Once we had this break, we had 2 days of pain, right? And as you can see what happened to the rest of the chart here. This is the 4-hour chart. Not day of pain, not days of pain, but that's probably, let's just see what that looks like. Yeah, so that day was rough, as you can see. The moment we broke through it, I mean, came back to the computer late that afternoon to see what's happening, and you know, we were so far away from where I initially wanted to exit, which is unfortunate. So this trade was handled extremely poorly, which sucks because the first two trades, the short to long, great entries, great exits, right? Couldn't have asked for better ones. You could have said, well, I could have held my short the whole way through. That would have been even better. I agree. But so yeah, I mean, you can see here too that the realized right was 32 and unrealized is 45. So that's unfortunate. Now the big winner, on the other hand, is the Russell, right? $71,000. $71,000 for the Russell. As we look at the Russell here, so we ended up getting long in this region here. Back in June, we ended up getting along the Russell. We have a pop here. I ended up making a video, by the way. I showed you guys a thumbnail of it. I add onto the Russell, by the way, around this candle, maybe towards the close. And yeah, so we end up exiting it on the 17th up here. We go short the Russell. We cover down here. Again, it looks like crazy exits here and entries, but it actually happened. You guys will see the transaction. So I cover my short here. I no longer touch Russell for the rest of July. I do touch it, by the way, in August. I end up going short the Russell during one of these down candles. But the Russell was a phenomenal play for us, not gonna lie, right? It obviously saved the day. It saved the day for us because we made a lot of stupid mistakes this month. But the Russell was the trade that came out for us and managed to kind of flip our P&L to be positive. So I am thankful for that. Our end value is still being up for the month. Open positions, I'm just going to have you guys take a look at this and so you guys can see what it is. What else can we look at? The trades, right? So I'm going to I'll just go down through this a little quickly for you guys. This is a way for you to verify that what I'm saying is accurate, right? With my entries and so forth. So you can see some of my exits here, right? On Tesla. Where was it? 259. So you see, I did have a Tesla position I was holding from June that I exited at 211 for $16,000 in gains because the very next day those delivery numbers come out. Delivery numbers come out. I get back into the stock, 500 shares, sell it at 259, short it at 250. Short at 250, short at 250, short more at 249, cover them all around the same dollar figure, but actually we end up making a little bit of profit because our average was higher, okay. So yeah, that was that for Tesla. And so here's the futures positions, right? So that, again, you can verify the NASDAQ positions as you would like here. Our original short here, us covering our short going long 2 contracts, then us covering our long going short 2 contracts, then us covering our short going long 2 contracts. Again, the reason I say this is because I'm actually covering if I'm short 3 but I buy 5, then obviously I'm covering 3 and I'm net 2, right? And I kept doing that back and forth. And here's the Russell trade. This was the addition. So yes, I was carrying Russell from June. I added 2 more contracts at this price here, and then I sold everything at 2265. Sold everything, then I went short 6 contracts, which I then covered at this price. So just so you guys can follow that along. I'm sure if you slow it down, you will understand what I'm saying. And then whatever fees I had for the month, you guys can kind of take a look at that, and then any interest payments. So that was that, you know. It was a tough month. It was a tough month to trade. You know, if you look at SPY here, how it turned out, right? This is, I mean, August is just as crazy, isn't it, right? We did have at the end of July, obviously, we had this little uptick for SPY at the very least. And for the Qs, how did the Qs look like? The Qs, yeah, the Qs. Listen, the Qs dumped quite a bit, and as it stands right now, the Qs are down, you know, like 16% from their peak. But that's it. That's all I really wanted to cover for this month review. And obviously, when August is done, I'll have a review for this month. And if there's anything in particular I want to cover, I will do just that. If you enjoyed this video, if you want to see more of it, give me a like, subscribe for more content. But other than that, good luck out there. Till next time.